I'm going to take some time. Got a study room here to go ahead and go through this video with you guys. What I'm about to expose to you in this video today is going to make Chinese Communist Party very mad at me, the media very mad at me. Several people are going to get very mad after I accomplish and make this video. Now, the beginning base of this video that I first want to introduce is the fact that Juicy Smollett. Let's actually go and take a quick review of this.
This is our first close-up look at how things unfolded the night he told police he was attacked.
Any weapons or anything? No.
This morning, new images of Jussie Smollett from the night he claimed he was assaulted by two men in an apparent hate crime. Police body cam video capturing the embattled actor at his apartment, still wearing the noose he says his attackers put around his neck.
You want to take it off or anything? Yeah, I do. I just want to see it.
The video, part of some nearly 70 hours of surveillance, body cam footage, investigative records, and other images made public by the Chicago Police Department. Authorities blurring faces. The alleged assault happening this past January, early in the morning after Smollett headed back to...
Now, I want you guys to understand that this here was the catalyst in the beginning of the fact that there is fake news out here. And as far as people will actually go to fake attacks, to be able to push a narrative, create a narrative, and be able to go ahead and, basically frame another person or another race. This right here is the beginning. If you see this Juicy Smollett story, you will see that basically most of these Asian attacks that you see on the news are not real. They are fake. Now I'm going to go ahead and we're going to go more through this.
This new photo of the suspect wanted for brutally kicking a 61-year-old Asian man. Surveillance video of the attack is so graphic, we had to freeze it. It shows the...
Now pay attention and notice. First, you will see a photo of a black man, which is not a clear photo. Okay. Second, they're going to go ahead and say that this Asian immigrant was out at night at about 2 o'clock in the morning picking up cans from a trash can, when you know that every Asian immigrant that comes to this country gets put up in a house, gets put up and gets everything. They're not digging for cans, and especially not at night.
Attacker repeatedly stomping on the victim's head as he lies motionless on the ground.
So, this is the thing about the news. This is why it's so dangerous. So they put this story here. Now, I want you to take a second and look at this and analyze it. It's in the dark. You cannot see who is doing this. First of all, you can't see the person who's doing the supposed kicking. Number two, they're saying, oh, this person's lying on the ground motionless. Here's what this looks like to me. That's a pile of blankets that is laid there on the ground in the dark. See, the thing is, the news media is what they're doing is at night. They're paying people to act these things out at night. This is how much this media is going as far as to do this. This is fake, okay? This is fake news. That never happened. This is a joke.
One was captured at Gus's Market in Mission Bay on Friday. Check this out. Police say an Asian father who was pushing his 1-year-old child in a stroller was suddenly beaten to the ground. He was hit in the back. He was hit in the head more than a dozen times. And police were patrolling the area and were able to luckily quickly arrest a 26-year-old suspect. That victim tells KPIX5 he's shaken up, but on the mend, and the baby was not hurt.
Dear MS.
I have to say, that to me, here's what that looks like. Now, the way that those punches are being thrown, you could obviously tell that those punches, the way that he's hitting that guy's back, it's being hit in a way that it either is fake, like it just doesn't look, it just doesn't look real. The way that this news is being acted.
An Asian-owned business. Police say they arrested 36-year-old Anthony Deshari for beating the owner of Cloud Tea, who's Chinese, and sending him to the hospital.
A business owner was attacked without provocation. Allegedly, he was yelling anti-Asian slurs.
Friday night around midnight at Cloud Tea off Buffalo and Flamingo, the owner's wife tells Fox 5, a man kept opening the door, yelled Asian slurs at the workers, would walk away and come back. At some point, the owner, who was working in the back, came to the front. That's when investigators say the owner was attacked and knocked unconscious.
He does have a long road to recovery ahead of him. We do not have a hate crime, an anti-Asian hate crime systemic issue here in the Valley.
Metro Police say 2 hate crimes against Asians were reported in the past 2 years, but plenty of locals in the Asian community say there has been a surge.
Now, this story here was really interesting, and I'm definitely going to go ahead and show you guys the article with that because they took away the video away real quick. Now, come to find out, this guy had actually really been attacked, and come to find out they actually had, taken him to court and taken him to trial. They actually ended up letting him off because they found out that he actually was acting in self-defense. And I'll go ahead and show you guys that article too.
Forehead. This is where it happened. The victim says he was waiting for a bus here at the corner of 5th and Western. He says that's when the suspect walked by, turned around, and started the attack.
Without being prepared, he started assaulting me when I was wearing my glasses, which caused me to have a rip because the lens of my glasses fell out and scratched my eyebrow. And while being assaulted, I ran away, and luckily there was an officer who was patrolling the area.
The suspect was arrested a block away. According to court records, Kentrell Smith was released just hours later on his own recognizance. Kang says he saw him in the same location a few days after the incident. He now feels scared.
Now pay attention to the way this guy keeps on blinking his eyes, okay? So, first of all, at a bus stop, right? Now, the thing that people don't realize is that a lot of these Asians are using these directed energy weapons out in public when they see blacks. They're using it through their phone. So here's what I strongly believe happened. I believe that this man was at the bus stop and the black man came to the bus stop or whatever, right? So he was walking. And then as they said, the assailant turned around and then did the attack. So this black man obviously clearly most likely was walking. This guy used whatever directed energy weapon, causing this black man to turn around and beat the living fuck out of him. Because these people think that it's funny. They think it's funny to use these directed energy weapons. And look, do you notice that this man, he's like sitting behind a flag, a Korean flag or whatever? Like, what the fuck? Like, he looks like a communist. These people are communists. They are set already. These are what you call sacrifices. These people are sacrificing getting their asses beat and sacrificing getting killed so that they can go ahead and in turn develop more power because what the media is going to do is say that it was an unprovoked attack and make the perpetrator, who really is perpetrating the crimes, look like a victim. That's what's going on here, and that is exactly what is being done.
This morning, a community gripped with grief after the brutal murder of 35-year-old creative producer Christina Yuna Lee, her alleged killer appearing in court late Monday. Authorities say these security camera images, now part of their investigation, capture the suspect, 25-year-old Asamad Nash, following Lee into her Manhattan building early Sunday morning, grabbing a knife from her kitchen before fatally stabbing her multiple times in her apartment.
Male death coming out of the fire escape. Be on the lookout for a weapon.
Nash trying to flee from the fire escape, taken into custody after a brief standoff with police. Officials say he is homeless, out on supervised release on 3 open cases, including one where he allegedly punched a stranger on the subway. He also has an extensive criminal history in New Jersey.
I ain't kill nobody.
Nash now facing murder, burglary, and sexually motivated
So, right here, as you can see right here, this is an African, okay? A lot of these attacks towards these Asians are being done by Africans. Now you have to ask yourself, why are these Africans attacking these Asians? Why are Africans and Caribbeans attacking Asians? But then we have to ask ourselves, okay, what I think they want to know why is China in Africa and Jamaica is what I think they really want to know. And I think that's the problem that they have with it. And I think the problem is, I think that starting whatever year, I think after that COVID stuff up in China with the way that they treated those Africans, that basically has made it to where these Africans in America want to tear your asses up, basically. So this stuff is being done. A lot of these attacks is being done by Africans, not Black Americans that are attacking you Asians.
She killed 49-year-old Connie Watton, who she did not know, by pushing her in front of a number 1 train at the Times Square 42nd Street subway station on November 7, 2016. At the sentencing, she did not speak, in stark contrast to her arraignment in February 2017, where she rolled her eyes and denied everything.
What? I did not mean to lie. I did not kill.
her eventual change of...
Man, that's an African right there. Listen to her accent. That's an African. They're fucking killing your asses. They don't like you for whatever reason. Asians, I don't know, but the one thing that I'm gonna say, don't bring the Black American into this. This is between you and the Africans. But don't even bring Black Americans into this, because it is not us that is doing the shit to you. Okay? It really is not. And pay attention now. The news is using the key word unprovoked attack. The news knows that these directed energy weapons are being used.
Michelle was giving. She was the best friend that anybody could have. Our friends called her the ultimate friend, who would drop everything with a smile to care for them. And she cared for our city, volunteering with the unhoused and the young, helping them pave a better life for themselves.
She was from the Bay Area.
We know we have a job to do. We're going to do both. We're going to drive down.
Now let me go back for a minute. Hold on. Let me go to Grace Meng, because I'm going to talk about Grace Meng for a minute.
People are really scared. People in the Asian American community and many New Yorkers. But we come together today and in the weeks and months ahead to work to honor the legacy of people like Michelle.
I want you to pay real quick attention right there to how Grace Meng is talking. Now, Grace Meng I strongly believe Grace Meng knows what's up. Grace Meng knows about the Chinese Communist takeover in New York. And the thing is, if anything happens to Grace Meng, you will know that there is a Chinese a CCP overtake here in New York. I strongly believe she's either being mind controlled or she is being threatened. Okay, I'm gonna show you guys this right now. Hold on one moment. Now pay attention to how Grace Meng's eyes are beginning to squint, how her whole demeanor has almost changed. It's almost as though she's talking in a robotic kind of way. Now, not many people may catch this, but something here just is really off with Grace Meng. Here's another video where I've noticed Grace Meng talking in a different kind of manner than she usually talks.
Whose futures are most impacted and who will be responsible for resolving these issues for years to come are empowered to act and have a voice today. 16 and 17-year-olds are also legally...
Pay attention to how it sounds almost like she's reading off a teleprompter. It's almost like she has zero emotion, like she's just completely void, and almost like somebody's almost like talking for her or telling her what to say. Something is wrong. She's either being threatened. She's either pretty much, if she does something that this CCP does not like, they're gonna possibly do something to her.
Permitted to work and drive and pay federal income taxes. Voting is a serious responsibility, but I believe that our young people are mature enough at these ages to responsibly cast a ballot. Now, I want to go over this video.
All right, so let me see if I have another, because I might have put a clip of her talking like her normal self in another clip. Yeah, I might have, yeah. But anyways, something is not right there, and I can tell in the way that she's talking.
That's exactly what
One moment. Let's see. Now, with this visual up, I think she must know that this Simon Marshall man had been hit with D weapons, and that's why he pushed the Michelle Go in front of this train. Maybe that's why her facial expression's like that. she must really know what's really being done and what the CCP is really doing, because this billboard, this whole like poster billboard, like that just lets you know that, okay, CCP in New York, you know, like they're controlling shit. All right, now let's go over some stuff here.
Of Indian or Korean engineers, physicians, computer scientists, and whatnot running around here, creating value, enlivening the society. I mean, I don't see how we lose from that. How do we lose from that?
Well, does the spirit of liberty beat in their breast, Glenn? That is my question.
In a written response to a listener, Wax further elaborated, as long as...
Now here's that podcast with Amy Wax where, the sad thing is I can't find the one clip I had seen, but she had basically, she basically said that basically Asians are coming up in medicine as doctors, and basically like Asians are kind of replacing like the Jews that are in power. That's essentially what she basically spoke about all in this podcast. And she basically let it know, like, kind of, it almost seemed like basically like there's just a total shift of power, basically, essentially, she explained. Now, segment 2. Let's begin to get into this gang stalking stuff, okay? Now, this is nothing new in China. Let me show you.
Seemingly inspired by science fiction is reportedly being used to torment Chinese people, specifically those who dare to stand up against government corruption. An unusual type of harassment has reportedly appeared in China, seemingly taken from the pages of a science fiction novel. Some claim the Chinese regime has developed a special kind of technology used to broadcast information directly into a person's mind. Known as electronic harassment, it's allegedly used to silence those who dare to speak out.
Wang Haibang says he's been suffering from what he calls electronic harassment for 12 years. He explained that it all started after he filed a corruption report in 2008. It was against then police chief of the Wuning County Public Security Bureau inside Jiangxi province. Soon after, he described being illegally detained, beaten, intimidated, and framed. Not long after that, he was involved in a car accident, something he says was staged. It left him hospitalized. He explained that since then, a device has been used to send information directly to his mind.
They observe my mind with the device and watch my movements. They also use the audio function to send voices to my mind, disturbing me round the clock.
Following his trip to the hospital, he says he began to suffer from the unique harassment. Wang says he believes the local police are behind the electronic harassment. That's because, according to Wang, they talk to him through it using their dialect and accent.
They don't talk about anything else. They only talk about what I'm doing, disturbing me no matter what I do. No matter what, they'll make noise and talk to me.
Wang told us that sometimes he can hear 5 or 6 people talking simultaneously, even up to a dozen. He explained that to him, it seems that they take shifts talking, insulting, and denouncing him, in an effort to spark his anger and make him talk back. According to him, the technology makes it so that only he can hear the noise. He describes it as a never-ending battle in his mind.
The local officials are too corrupt. They seek to kill you with this torture. They thought I couldn't last 2 years. They never imagined I would make it this long.
But Wang's long-term fatigue has taken a serious toll on his health. Now he suffers from symptoms like headaches, weakened eyesight, and shortness of breath. Despite the symptoms, Wang says that his mental health is intact. In order to prove he's not insane, he underwent 2 MRIs and a CT scan, showing that his brain is still functioning normally. Wang began in Beijing in 2015. It's taken him 4 years to get confirmation about the technology from China's Ministry of Public Security.
The reception staff of the Public Security Ministry said that they indeed have this kind of equipment. It's very expensive. It's available in all police departments at the county level and above. The equipment can monitor your thinking and send voices to your mind and talk to you in your head. That's what they said.
Wang says the Chinese Communist Party, or CCP, currently uses the technology to control tens of thousands of people. He says he's also spoken with other victims, who describe suffering the same round-the-clock noise in their minds. Some of them reportedly couldn't bear it and are believed to have committed suicide, but more and more victims have started to speak out. The CCP hasn't hidden its intention to weaponize mind control. Regime media mouthpiece Xinhua reprinted an article earlier last year speaking highly of the technology's military and wartime value. The article says the purpose of mind control weapons is not the destruction of an enemy's flesh, but of his will. It also says the new technology doesn't require a chip implanted in the human brain. Instead, electromagnetic waves, light, sound waves, smells, among other things can be used. Reporting by Xu Wanhui, NTD News.
Now, essentially, that basically just explained everything that we need to know. Now, this program has been in China established for a very, very long time already. It has already been established. It has already been going. It already is here and has been there in China. And the Chinese have the technology that these weapons are. Basically, this video, I wish this video could be shown to the whole United States of America because it explains everything here that is going on to thousands of Americans right now. They are torturing the Chinese in the same way, and they brought this whole program all the way to America. And the real disgusting thing is the blacks, the whites, and the Hispanics that are going along with this Chinese communist bullshit and doing this shit. Because the thing is, these Nazi police use these weapons too. They're doing the same shit. They're framing people. And the big thing is, notice how the main thing is also to frame you mentally ill. That's one of the big things they're doing. That's now what the Chinese Communist Party is now working to do in New York, and say, okay, the homeless are mentally ill, this and that. That's what they're going to do, is they're working to use these weapons on everybody and frame you mentally ill. Now look at Hong Kong. They're playing this shit in Hong Kong. In Hong Kong, they're burning down these Chinese flags. Like, they're like, no. Like, in Hong Kong, they are not having this in Hong Kong. They're not. So they're not having they don't want any Chinese Communist Party, anything. They're like fighting back. And as they should, that this is the right thing what they're doing. I don't blame them. I would do the same thing, because it's like, they know this program. They know what and it's funny because if you think of it, the same shit I'm going on with California and how they're all coming here to Colorado. California essentially is like the mainland China in the United States. The way that they are stalking me here in Colorado proves that California is essentially the mainland China of the United States. Because it's like, why would you communists come all the way here to gang stalk me from that state? Because they want to try to get me back to California. All right, now let's talk about COVID-19 and what it really is. Now, this is something that they have worked as hard as they can to censor me from letting the public know, because they don't want the public to know at all. Now, at the same time that this COVID-19 outbreak happened, African swine fever actually had been broke out actually shortly before it. This African swine fever had broke out. These pigs in China and all these different countries started to get infected with swine fever, and they realized that they could not even use this meat anymore because it's getting all infected and these pigs are turning black. So let me show you this clip. Now, focus on the fact that these pigs, listen to the fact, see how these pigs are turning purple and getting these same spots here?
If you notice, these pigs, they all were turning purple with the same kind of rash.
They're getting the same and similar rashes as the people with COVID-19. Remember COVID toes? People were getting COVID toes. These pigs are getting those same symptoms with purple feet, purple toes, purple parts of the area, and these rashes.
That humans were getting, remember people were getting COVID toes and the shit was turning purple? This same stuff was happening to humans. Look at this. All these symptoms are the same symptoms of COVID. All those symptoms are the same. Okay, you've been lied to. You've been lied to. This whole time you've been lied to. This is African swine fever, okay? It's African swine fever, that's all it is. Now look at that pig's toe. See how that pig's got those COVID toes too? See how that pig's toe is turning purple? See how these pigs are turning purple? See that? Same rashes. Same rashes in the same virus.
So the truth is, they don't want you to know the truth. They really don't want you to know the truth. That this is what this is. Now look at the fact that these Chinese doctors, they turned black. The same way that these pigs are turning from the color pink to the color black. Now, why is this happening? Now, how, and let's also talk about the spread as well. So China is the #1 pork producer in this whole world. Okay, so a lot of the pork that we get here in America and that you see across the world, it's all actually being sent from China. So what began to happen was all these pigs began to quickly get infected with this virus. And the thing is that they can't just kill and eradicate all these pigs. That's thousands of dollars that they would have to spend and that they'd have to waste. So they had to go ahead and still sell this meat. They had to still sell this pork because that's basically, yeah. So they had to still sell the pork because, I mean, hey, what are people going to do when there's, the main food they eat and there's no pork or bacon or anything? Oh, they're not going to allow that to happen, of course. So, basically, if you look at all the stuff about this African swine fever and the breakout of it, you'll understand that this virus, that what they're telling you this shit is, it really isn't. Now let's look at some shady shit China did. So China took a shipment of pork celery dumplings and they sent that shit to Manila, and Manila seized those dumplings at the port because they seized those dumplings at the port because they found them to be infected with the African swine fever. So exported Chinese dumplings. So basically the Philippines was not playing. The Philippines had their basically like everything ready there to be able to test what food was coming in the country. The Philippines must have known about this African swine fever and known that this can make humans sick. So the Philippines took these dumplings sent from China, found out that that shit was infected with the African swine fever, and they threw it out. But you would pretty much have to keep checking stuff for this virus to not spread. So they were able to probably contain the virus for a while if they kept on checking the, if the meat was infected with the African swine fever at the port. This was back in, when was this? 2020. Okay, and that was when it first came out. So the Philippines must have knew something. They must have known that despite them saying, let me go to this, despite them trying to say that humans cannot get this African swine fever virus, the Philippines must have known that humans actually can get this virus. And if you notice, if you look back and look at it, go and look at the swine fever. Remember that H1N1 swine fever? Anything that infects pigs usually causes respiratory illness within the pigs and within humans. So when you're eating pork right now, you are playing a dangerous game. Okay. Now let me get back to that Vegas story with the Vegas man who had So the judge ended up dismissing the charge against this Las Vegas man accused of racist assault on this boba tea owner. So come to find out, what happened was, let me see, I'm going to go through the story here and see. So it says, supposedly they were saying that this Dashari guy entered and was yelling slurs. And then I guess that he ended up leaving the store. But I guess that the owner came out with a firearm. And then I guess he was attacked by the Dashari guy. See, he remembers the defendant to me. It's good. Okay, so yeah, I haven't really gone through this story, but I don't really know what is going on. But some of these stories, like, it seems like the news. The thing about the news is the media. It really will do a lot of like one-sided reporting, or they will not report the full story. And that is the biggest danger in America right now. Really the biggest danger here. So I don't really know if the thing is, with the story, pretty much basically when you hear a news story, read a news story, basically you have to like use your own discernment on it, pretty much basically. So we're going to talk more about, let me go through this. So we're going to talk about, okay, this is that one by this guy, this Simon Marshall guy. Now he ended up, the way that he had ended up coming out and saying this stuff, you could tell that a directed energy weapon was most likely used on this man. Something brought this man from 0 to 100 because he said, motherfucker, I'm God. I did this shit because I'm God. He was not playing. So something caused this man to snap, and I strongly believe that he was standing there at the subway and this woman came towards him with the directed energy weapon, causing him to snap. Because after a while, when you're hit with this directed energy weapon by so many people and you keep getting hit by it by the same race, of course you're going to eventually snap, of course. So he snapped, he went off, and it most likely was due to these energy weapons. Because the truth is, these energy weapons, this is how they can get all this stuff done. Now let's go here and let's look at what Biden has done, these executive orders that are being signed here. So these now, due to them using these directed energy weapons, they now can get these executive orders signed for them and get all these protections and get more things set into this country. Now, if you read this thing, let me tell you, you will be like, what the fuck? Dude, it is saying here basically something about there being saying that Asians face persistent disparities in socioeconomic health and educational outcomes, linguistic isolation, and all this, basically saying all this stuff that our nation has also seen that, again, anti-Asian bias, xenophobia, and racism have deep and nativism have deep roots in our nation. Okay, how the hell is that possible when the Asians are the richest in the country? That's the thing. That's the thing about this, is by using these directed energy weapons, they now can perpetrate to make themselves seem as though they are a victim and as though they are persecuted. It says that long before this pandemic, AA and NPHI communities in the United States, including South Asian and Southeast Asian communities, have faced persistent xenophobia, religious discrimination, racism, and violence. How is that possible when they all get in this country and they all basically get everything for free? Let's see, the federal government must provide the moral leadership, policies, and programs to address and end anti-Asian violence and discrimination and advance inclusion and belonging for all AAI and NPHI communities. Basically, what that is fucking telling you is that this fucking federal government is right neck and neck with this Chinese Communist Party. Because all this shit here, this is all bullshit and a bunch of lies. This is bullshit right here. You know that this is bullshit. Everybody who reads this knows that this is bullshit. This is nonsense. Now, going back to why these Africans and these Jamaicans and Caribbeans don't like you Asians is because you're coming into their country and they're just like, nah, like, to be quite honest, people don't really know, but China is just another colonizer. They're another colonizer. Let's see. They're working to colonize Hong Kong, colonize Taiwan, colonize Africa, colonize Jamaica, and now they're coming for the United States. This is why there is Asian hate. Look at this fucking shit. What the fuck is this? What the fuck? Okay? Look, read this right now. Okay, let's see. When his white Toyota pickup stopped in front of my hotel, Hal was barking into his phone. He was in a hurry and he was angry. Let's see, white car. See, and then he says down here, let's see, China is a big fucking mess with all of its fucking dialects. Hal said to me in English after hanging. What the fuck? So basically, like, they're going to, like, Africa to make, like, a new life for themselves, or I you know what? I really don't know. But that's between China and Africa, I guess, and between Chinese and Africans, because I don't know what's going on here. But all I know is that this stuff going on in the news, you know what? I don't know. You know what? I really don't know.
Whoa, this is fire. Little plants? All plants? It's changing my life right now.
Now, I want to talk about the kind of foods that these communists are actually bringing around. So now, one thing to understand is that what they're really doing is they're really pushing this vegan diet. They're really pushing this fake. Let's see, this is some eggs in a bottle, coming out in a bottle.
My man Wayne got real twisted last night. But respect goes out to Wayne. Instead of crying in the shower like he normally does, he got up and made himself a bomb fluffy egg sandwich. Now, does he care that these delicious eggs are made from plants and he's making a healthier future for humanity? He don't give a damn. This man is just after some tasty eggs. And if those eggs just happen to be good for the world, so be it.
If you notice, the main people that they put in these commercials and the main people they try to push this diet to are the Black American, that they really try to push this diet to. Not only just the Black American, but just to everybody. But they will try to, like, from what I've noticed from like the Black conscious communities, they really push this diet. Well, from back then when I used to be on like my Keto Kaya channel, like, this is all part of this communist diet. Here's how these communists work. Now you need to understand that what they'll do is they will take the cheapest ingredients of anything that you can find. They will put it into a fancy looking bottle, okay? They'll put it into a fancy, a little bottle, make it look fancy. And then what they will do is charge you about 3 times the price of what you will get for just for simply getting a regular egg. And the thing is, this is devoid of any nutrition. It's made in a lab. Now, look at all these chemicals. Now, I want you to pay attention to all of these vegan brands and to understand that all these vegan brands are coming from the Bay Area, okay? These Chinese Communist Party are operating mostly in America through the Bay Area, and they are also working to create these foods to get us all to eat them so that we are good slaves. Because this doesn't have any nutritional anything in it at all. There's no nutrition in it. You really think you're gonna get some cholesterol and protein from some fucking mung bean and a bunch of other chemicals all thrown together? No. This is all part of this communist shit. Look at this Mayoko shit. Look at this. This woman is sitting here making a fake turkey. Understand that this fake shit is designed to kill you as well as to steal from you. That's why these communists are so rich and making so much money, because they're able to wrap stuff up into a package to take mung beans and take soy and cheap plant products and wrap it up in a fancy package and sell you that shit for about $12 or something outrageous, and then you eat it. And what it does is it actually, the chemicals and stuff that they're adding to this and making in the lab, it actually programs you. You're actually being programmed and controlled by these foods. And it also ages you. Like, look at this. Her skin is so aged from this vegan diet because you don't get nutrition in it. You don't get anything. That's why a lot of people are starting to age right now, because it's like when you don't have the proper nutrition and amino acids from real meat, this is what happens. And it's like a lot of people just don't know what's going on here. So, here's one of the things that people have to understand about this news and this division too. See, here's what's going on. The news is only going to show you what they want you to see. They're only going to show you what they want you to see. So what they're going to do is they're going to go ahead and keep showing stories. They're going to show, everything they can. And the thing is that you have to understand that these communists love these shutdowns and restrictions. And you know why? The reason that these communists love these shutdowns and restrictions is because when you're inside, when you're shut down and locked down, you can't see what's going on outside in the real world. So essentially, basically, like, when we have these shutdowns and lockdowns, they can display so much fake news on the news. And this is how people are basically, if we have another lockdown or shutdown again, people are going to be basically shitting on themselves due to all the fake news that they're going to display to you. People will be shitting on themselves, and there won't even be any goddamn toilet paper to wipe their fucking asses, because the stores, all the toilet paper is going to be out. Everybody's going to get frantic and start like going and buying all this shit. Okay, the news is only designed to control the population, and the Archon reptilians, many of these reptilians actually feed off all the energies that is caused by all the fighting that's going on and just, anything they do, even if like getting other races to kill each other, like getting all this shit to happen, it is all by design. Like, all this shit really is truthfully the deep state. The deep state really is behind a lot of this and all of this. It really is the deep state, and that, they're working in the government, and the deep state is running the media. You have to understand that a lot of this ties into that. This deep state is completely controlling this media, as well as this Chinese Communist Party and a bunch of other corruption. So I just want to make this video and go ahead and talk about this real quick and kind of, you know, share, because I know I'd made my live stream and I kind of wanted to, you know, give a little bit of some video to go with the things I had spoken about. All right, guys. So I hope this has, you know, been something that maybe help people out to understand and see this news is fake. And I hope you guys all have a good day.